finally, an interesting pad controller. This one has a screen on it, but the question is this feature even necessary or is it just a gimmick? Let's find out and also test it in some fighting games. This is the MANBA ONE full-color interactive screen gaming controller. As we all know, the main challenge is to see if we can get Doom to... I'm not going to try and get Doom to run on this, but that would be an interesting challenge. Let's open it out of the box. It's got actually quite a nice bit of packaging for a controller that's only, I think, $63. Check that out. Didn't mean to hit the camera. Just want to point out this controller was sent to me free of charge for the purposes of making this video. I don't have to send it back at the end. I wasn't instructed to say anything specific about it, and all opinions are my own. So got some instructions here. It says you can call the Ghostbusters, and here is the controller itself. Let's just get it straight out. What is with controller companies and sending me controllers with these little... This probably protects it from getting damaged. Okay, it's transparent on the top. I mean, we've seen transparent controllers before, but the way that it's been done, not sure if you can see, but it's white all over the top of the controller, and it just gets gradually more and more silver with this like sort of faded paint job. A weird thing about these shoulder buttons, the first thing you'll notice is that they're actually tilted. So instead of having completely flat buttons like this, it's actually assumed that your fingers are gonna like roll around the controller, but not all the way. And then the pivot, though, they want you to like have your fingers go all the way around, but they want you to press it with the knuckle of your finger instead of the tip of your finger. That's whatever. I guess we'll test the rest of this. A D-pad, analog sticks, shoulder buttons, and also 4 shoulder buttons here on the back. Check this out. We've also got little switches here. So if you lock it down here from setting 1 to setting 2, it actually changes the shoulder trigger into just a shoulder button. Maybe if this is compatible with Nintendo Switch. Hold on, let me go and pick up that information I just... For Switch, PC, iOS, and Android. All right, so it does work on Switch. Sometimes people complain about these Switch controllers that also work on PC because instead of having a digital button mode, they always have these full range triggers. But because you can lock them in place, presumably that makes it better for games like Splatoon. That's what seems to be the thing that people complain about. Oh, and the other thing is that these triggers are linear Hall effect triggers. In theory, you won't have to deal with joystick drift or anything. But classically, I never follow... I ended up hitting my face first. Cue the unpeeling music. That was not as satisfying as I thought it would be. Someone just make it happen, please. We've got to make Doom play on this little controller. Just switch this to on. MANBA. Reconnecting. I don't know what it's reconnecting to. Check this out. Now that we've got the screen on, you can also see that these lights are coming on. They actually reflect on your hand in a really cool way. This is the sort of lighting that you want to see on a controller. Lighting that actually affects your hands, and like this is actually something people will see when you're like streaming. If you've got a hand cam, actually having lighting on the side, that's pretty cool. It appears that you can actually go through these menus using the analog stick. It is not a touch screen. This is not the brightest screen I've ever seen. It's a screen, but there's not a lot of brightness here. If I shift it over, you can see that it will change the colors to blue, teal, green. That is super cool. If you speak Zhongwen English or Nihongo, you can have any of those options. You don't have to plug yourself into a computer to reset them or anything. It looks like calibration can be done right here. Just press start, rotate the left and right joystick. Calibration success. And if we go to motion controls, press start. Oh, what? It does have Why wouldn't it say that on the box? Just check out the help menu here as well. Okay, it just shows you a QR code. It's like, go on a PC. Inside this box, we have a wireless, all of this for $63. You can actually place the dongle in here when we're not using it and actually fold that away. You can also place it on this charging stand like so. Wow, you can remap everything just from this screen. Hang on a second. A equals A, but I could also set A to equal something else. So when you remap buttons, they're just maps to regular buttons. But when you map the multi-buttons here on the back, they can be combinations. So we'll go into M1 and start here. You can see total time 0 seconds, up to 20 keys. So if I do a fireball, what? I can program macros on the go with this control. Okay, it's time to just plug it into a game and just try this out. All right, testing out the D-pad first. We've got left, right. But we could check out the D-pad in more detail later. The first thing I want to do is test out that macro feature. Let's change macro number 1 to be a fireball. Do a fireball. 1, 2, 3, go. Amazing. So as you can see, I'm just pressing this one button here. I'm getting my controls out. Let's see if we can do a super combo. So normally in this game, I would do down, forward, punch to do my super combo. If you know you want to use classic controls, but you want to focus more on the ground game and neutral, and there's like 6 million things to have to focus on in a fighting game. Instead of trying to make sure you always get the input right for this particular motion, which is down, forward, punch, you can actually go into the menu and let's program it in. So do the super with my strong punch button, and hopefully that will have done it. So let's go back. So M2, here we go. Amazing. Way too easy. Unbelievable. Now, if you want to program an entire combo into this controller, I assume that it's possible, but you won't see it on screen, because when you're doing the inputs to program the controller, nothing is happening in the game. So you just have to imagine yourself and do it at exactly the right timing in your mind. Unfortunately, you can't actually play the game at the same time and actually program the controller at the same time. Let's see if I can say at the same time more times in one sentence at the same time. So for example, a simple combo that I often do is I jump in, punch, kick, dragon punch. I actually won't be able to see myself doing it when I'm programming it. So if I hold down for 3 seconds, let's change M3 to be that combo. Jump, punch, kick, fireball. Okay, let's see if that worked. All right, the moment of truth. Let's see if pressing this one button will do the combo that I did completely in my brain and couldn't actually see it while programming it. 1, 2, 3. It completely skipped the medium punch. I've decided that I'm not going to end this video until I can get this combo to work. Settings, configuration, button. 3, 2, 1, go.
I don't have time to play.
All right, let's see how my imaginary timing goes this time. M3. Completely missed the jump.
What are you waiting?
All right, we got it that time, I'm sure. 3, 2, 1. What? What? I'm not going to give up. I am definitely going to get this. It has to work this time. No! Alright, the way to make this work is I'm going to have to get it into my muscle memory by practicing the combo properly and then recording it. The strategy is going to be, if I can do the combo with my eyes closed, then it works. Please, please, please. Oh, I was close at that time. Here we go. Oh no, where was the kick? Where was the kick? All right, we got the 1-2 punch done, but now we need to do the fast run into the dragon punch. Oh, I did the kick. So we've got the 1-2 punch and the run, but now we're not getting the dragon punch, I think. There's no way that didn't work. Okay, there it was, yes! I missed one of the diagonals, and I'll explain that in a moment, but we got it. That feels so good. The only real reason I did was to prove that it's actually quite difficult to program an actual combo as a macro into this, so it's not like this is going to be the instant cheat device. In fact, this actually makes it harder to program combos into this. But if you're going to do something very simple, like a fireball or a Hadoken, then programming that sort of shortcut in, that's actually really easy. So honestly, I think this is a fantastic little feature that is going to be fun to muck about with if you just want to have a bit of fun with some fighting games for a while. But something that is kind of a little bit concerning for fighting games, that is, it's quite difficult to get these diagonals. If I'm doing down and then I go down back to block, you can actually see I'm going backwards, I'm walking backwards. If I go a little bit down, I'm in down back, and then I go a little bit more, and then I'm down. So it feels like there's quite a wide zone here for down, quite a wide zone here for right. But these diagonals, it feels like just whatever the size is of the actuators underneath here, getting the diagonals to actually come out is kind of difficult. And that's frustrating, because I think when you're playing a fighting game, you will be in a situation where you think you're pressing down, back, but actually what you've got is just back. You're like, I'm blocking. Oh, actually, I'm just pressing down. Okay, hold it. Let me find exactly the right bit where the corner is. Okay. It's the same thing for the up diagonals as well. It's kind of tricky to always hit the jump forward. Normally, I would complain about the opposite issue, where if you just put your thumb on here and you just roll back and forth, usually you would accidentally get up and down, but you can see that it just locks so tightly into place on the left direction that actually the only way to get a proper diagonal is to really actually press both at exactly the same time. So for fighting games, a little bit concerning. Probably not the D-pad I would choose, but that's not all you can do with this pad, because we'll go over to mode. Let's change over to switch. It does work, and what? I can't believe it. That's so funny. They don't mention it on the box at all, and I just didn't think to actually check the website. But the fact that, look at how fast this is. I don't feel any kind of lag or anything. I'm just completely in regular Bluetooth mode. Trigger buttons work as well. And if I put them in lock mode like this, even without the long pull trigger, it still works just fine, which is how a normal Nintendo Switch controller would work. I've got complete access to gyro controls over here. The fact that it's got a gyro in it at all means that even though it's a third-party controller, you can use it for Splatoon, and that's fantastic because not all controllers can say that they can do that. And all for a controller that's also multi-platform, so like you could use this on iOS or Android or PC, and also use it on your Switch, and you've got the wireless dongle, or you can use it in Bluetooth. Man. Alright, I was not aware of this, but also in the settings, you can go over here to the Switch settings under trigger. You can actually change the dead zone, so a certain range where the trigger won't make a response when pressed. Maybe you can get it to trigger a little bit sooner, so if I put this at 50%, almost 10% into the travel of the button, it instantly actuates. So I don't understand how the numbers work. You've got control over the curve. You can decide whether it's more linear or if it does nothing really in the middle and then it kind of more dramatically changes at the end. There's a setting for action and fighting games, one with more latency for role-playing games, and one for high performance. You can actually see the curve. That's amazing. I love having this visual feedback. You can also go over here to the dead zone. So let's say 50%. Nothing happening while I'm moving the first 50% of motion in the controller. But if I go all the way to the outer edge, you can actually see it starts to actually make a difference. Being able to do it right here, this is high tech, man. I'm actually really impressed. And last but not least, you've also got some vibration strength. 2, 3, 4. I'm going to be honest, they don't feel a lot different. Honestly, I think it's a fantastic little controller for the price. $63, you're getting a controller with wireless and Bluetooth, and you've got all the lights, and the fact that it's also on top of that, a pretty decent controller, apart from the D-pad, which I wouldn't use for fighting games. The fact that you can change all of the settings, I don't even know how important some of them are, but being able to change them on the fly, if you're like, finally you're in the game, it's just like, okay, now I know that I want to make a small change, like I need 10% less dead zone here, or I need a little bit more faster tracking accuracy and more sensitivity on the D-pad, and I don't want to go like exactly the specific curve that I want. Like it's got 3 predetermined curves that you can choose from. The fact that it's really easy to do. I didn't read the instructions at all, and I was able to figure out most of it. I'm pretty impressed by this. It's just a shame that the diagonals are not great for fighting games. Listen up, that's all for the MANBA ONE controller. It is even more exciting than I thought it was going to be. It's not just being able to change settings on the screen that makes it interesting, but it's just the whole package. It looks cool, it's got flashing lights, but also the ability to change things on the fly and do things that even other controllers with PC software can't do, like actually programming a timed macro into the controller, but on the fly using just this little screen. I think it's an insane bargain. Just like $63, plus it's got the wireless dongle and Bluetooth, all the features. Pretty impressed. Anyway, if you're interested, check out the MANBA ONE. If you enjoyed the video, be sure to like, subscribe, and check out this video next. I'm sure you're gonna love it if you're interested in games and controllers. I've been NihongoGamer. I'll see you real soon.